Hi, my name is Kudzai Gwazi and welcome to Cultured and Creative. Today we're going to be talking about money, how you account for your money. As an artist, when asked the question to present any financial details to any potential sponsor or donor or any partner, many artists do not know where to start. So today, I'm just going to present 10 guidelines that are going to show you the steps you can take to properly account for your money, so that anybody that asks you this question can understand your financials and everything is transparent and clear. Even when somebody gives you money, you can be able to account for that money, or before that happens, you would have prepared a rhythm of how you can internalize the processes that you need to do to be able to account for your money. Just like with your art, you internalize the rhythm of waking up, being creative. When it also comes to finances, you need to be able to just get into the rhythm of keeping account of everything that happens in your business. The first guideline is called the 4-step principle or the 4-wall principle. It states your money needs to go through 4 steps before a transaction is complete. So the first one is approval. The second one, execution. The third one, recording. And the fourth one, reconciliation. So the first step, approval. Any transaction needs to be approved. Let's say in this case, you want to buy something, you get 3 quotations, and then you get the best out of them. And then after that, there's the approval stage. And then the next stage is the actual execution of going to acquire that item that you have that you want to acquire. And then after you have acquired, you need to record that transaction. And after the recording of the transaction, you need to reconcile each of the 3 steps in the 4th step. The first step and the 4th step usually should not be done with the same person, to ensure accountability and that all the information and the steps that have happened are correct. The second guideline is the real-time recording rule, which states in 7 days you need to record all the transactions that happen. Why does this happen? Memory alone is not a sufficient tool to keep a record. So once a transaction happens, the best thing is, let's say you've got 2 people working in a business. One person makes sure that they are supposed to be the one that keeps the record, and maybe you are the one that does the execution. So the person that keeps the record, the moment you bring it back, you either file it in a place where they're supposed to then do it within 7 days, or they actually record it immediately. Or if you're doing it by yourself, once you come back from wherever you come back from, or from doing the transaction, what you do is you put the record down. You either type it in your Google Sheet or in your Excel or in your Word or however you keep your records, and then that record is accounted for. You don't even need to worry to keep the memory of it because the ledgers keep the memory of that transaction. The third guideline is the 4-party receipt rule. A receipt is not valid until it has these 4 things. First, it's the vendor. Second, the date. Third, the detail. And then fourth, the amount. So any receipt, any transaction that you do, the receipt needs to have this information on it. Without this information, that receipt is not valid and cannot be stored in our books. So make sure that when you are doing any transactions, remember to ensure that these details are on your receipt. The 4th guideline, cash handling, which states when counting cash, there's supposed to be 2 unrelated people that count cash and then sign and state the date they counted that money. When it comes to checks, 2 people have to sign for the money or for the check, usually above a certain amount, but it's always safe that 2 people always have to sign for a check. The 4th guideline is the restriction sanctity principle that states that any money given for a specific reason should only be used for that reason that money was given. A donor gives you money for feeding people or for making sure your album sales are marketed well or whatever, just name it. That money should never be used for anything else. It should never be used for video shoots or for buying yourself that needed t-shirt or whatever. You need to use that money for marketing. So it says if you use it for anything else, then you have broken the law. And in most cases, when your books are presented, most people that give money or give donations will not trust you next time with giving you anything because you do not do what you said you are going to do with the money that you asked for. So it's important to always keep this rule in mind when you're doing business, that whatever money you're given, do not use it for anything else but what it was given for. A scenario can arise where you need to pay bills and the only money in the account or that you have is for that marketing. You do not need to say, I'm going to pay it back somehow, so let me use this money and just do what I need to do right now to cover my bills. Your bills will remain outstanding and that money remains as is. Do not take from that money. So when you're doing transactions, always remember from which bucket are you paying the bills. If it's from your profits, then pay from there because that's what that money is for. But if there's that money for marketing, it should only be used for marketing, not for any other reason. The sixth guideline is monthly rhythm. Everything needs to be done systematically, or as a musician, we know that most of playing instruments ends up being muscle memory. So all that rhythm is muscle memory, just like the finances. All of that bookkeeping and knowing how to do it needs to just be rhythmic. Every first week of the month, you always check your books and make sure you reconcile everything. So that rhythm needs to be put into the system just like anything else. And I'm talking to creatives that understand how rhythm works. If you're a musician, you understand how rhythm works. If you're a sculptor or a painter, you understand how your rhythm works when you execute or when you paint or when you're creative. You understand. So as a creative person, you understand the rhythm of everything that you do. So your finances, likewise, need to be the same. Every first week of the month, make sure you reconcile everything with the bank statement and assume that the bank is always correct. So everything has to align with the bank statement. And if you need to prepare a report, it just needs to be one page stating the amount of cash that's present, the amount of cash that was used versus the budget, or how much cash is present for a specific program. And then you present that document to whoever it needs to be presented to. The seventh guideline is the filing architecture. That states that if any document is not present, then the audit has failed. So imagine someone is looking at your books and then they are saying, where's the receipt for this? If that receipt cannot be presented or accounted for, that means that that audit has failed and something has happened to that money. And you now need to explain what happened to that money. And already question marks would arise and you are no longer a trustworthy person or business that somebody would want to come back and invest in. You need to keep one binder or one hanging file that has all the transactions on it, starting with the label, the month, let's say February 2026, then the bank statement, then the receipts starting with the first of that month up to the end. And then after that, if there are any grants or contracts, then you put that at the end. And then you keep that and you store it aside for that month. As your business grows, you're going to have many people playing a part in it. And some services, the people that are in the business or in the board might be able to provide these services. The eighth guideline now addresses this, and it's called the related party spotlight. It states it's not illegal for anyone in the board of your organization to provide a service for the organization. What needs to happen is, first, there needs to be a voting process. Then after that, a clear recording stating the related party and the name. And then after that, that service should also have a fair market value. The ninth guideline is the 80-20 software rule. Do not buy expensive software for a discipline problem. The issue is keep the records, even on paper or in Excel or anything that's available, Google Sheets or any free softwares that are there that help you to be able to keep your records efficiently. Make sure you just keep the records. That's what's more important, if you keep the records. But if you do have software, make sure you do the reconciliation on it. You make sure if it provides that, keep the records on it, and do not share your login information with anyone. Anybody else that logs in with their own information to ensure the records are kept accurately and there's transparency, trustworthiness, and accountability. If you're enjoying this information, thank you so much, and I'm glad that it helps. Please like and subscribe so it can help with the algorithm to show this to other people that might benefit from this information. The 10th and the last guideline is the backup directive. Make sure you've got a backup for all the information that you have. If it's a hard copy, make sure you've got two places where you store your hard copies. One is stored away, one is in the office. If you're using softwares, maybe one might be in the computer, the other might be on the cloud or on a flash disk, mainly for that, or on an external hard drive. So make sure there are always two backups, because if there's only one, then we assume you do not have any records. Because in the case that that record is destroyed, then you do not have information anymore. So make sure that you've got two and they are ready whenever they are needed. So if you've been with me this long, thank you so much. And I hope this information really does help you to progress and to put the necessary steps or structures in your business so you can start making sure your business is on its way to a place where it can be shared or it can grow, or you can introduce other people and you can make intelligible decisions and also grow, as other people can be able to look at the state of it and then add other things, be it financial value or anything that they want to add to the business. So from me, Kudzai Gwaze, this is Cultured and Creative. Stay creative and never stop creating work.